The all-electric Volvo XC40 here today in our review. Let's go! Volvo calls both the plug-in hybrids and the pure electric versions now Recharge. And then Recharge Pure Electric for this one? Too confusing, isn't it? Why just not call it XC40 EV and that's it. And here the closed front grille, simple design, and then here source hammer LED light signature. LED is standard also for the main headlamp unit, optional dynamic cornering light. You can also see it then later on because our driving part today is more in the night time. With 4.42 meters or 174 inches, Volvo's smallest SUV is indeed pretty compact, but it has this, really upright stance and already delivers a true SUV feeling. Here, by the way, when I the door handles here, outside, inside, opening and close, and also here the mirrors fold up or in. Then here you can see 19-inch wheels today, optional 20-inch wheels, but these ones here deliver you better comfort. Of course, because it's the electric version, but not an own EV platform. But however, batteries are in the lower part of the vehicle, therefore the center of gravity is actually quite low. In the rear, typical L shape there for the tail lamps. Again, a beautiful and clean design indeed. There are two versions, either front-wheel drive only, then around 7.4 seconds in the acceleration, or all-wheel drive, one electric motor in the front and an additional one in the rear. We also have that today. Then 4.7 seconds is the acceleration figure. And the price difference is really notable. With the Polestar 2, price difference between front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive is not that huge. Here it is actually, in German market, for example, 7,500 euros. So you can start thinking about if it's more, just more useful to go front-wheel drive only and keep the price a little bit lower, because the price is actually quite hefty for this one. Top speed here, 180 kilometers an hour or 110 or 112 miles an hour. Recharging is 11 kilowatt AC or 150 kilowatt DC peak. And from that 75 kilowatt hour net battery, you can maximum get around 400 kilometers or 250 miles of range in optimum conditions. More realistic figure, also when it's a little bit colder, rather some 350 kilometers or some 210 miles, and you can be sure they can reach that. With that, a nice wooden-like key cover here, really premium. Door closing sound, not the best. What's among the best here, the optional Harman Kardon sound system. For a car in this segment here, probably the best sound I've heard so far. Then here, soft touch all the way around, also nice build quality. And here that EV interior. Soon it will be all animal free in the most specs. At this moment the steering wheel is still animal wrapped, but in the C40 standard and now in future for the XC40 also animal free steering wheel. And the seats, there will be for the following option. This is entry, the pure fabric seats. Then there's also a wool option. Then there's an option where we have microfiber on the inside and leatherette on the outside, and also a full leatherette seat will be available. There's also still some headroom left with 1.86 or 6.1, although this one here is equipped with that panoramic roof that leaves a lot of nice light inside. The cool thing here about the XC40 is it's not the biggest SUV, but it already delivers a true SUV feeling when sitting here on the inside. Clean Scandinavian design on the interior, soft touch here, and a nice insert right there. 9-inch infotainment system. This is a lot of black piano lacquer, don't like it that much. And also the climate unit. No real hard buttons for that. You have to press here in the touchscreen, but at least it stays on the same level. And also for seat heating and heated steering wheel, you can access it right here. That's actually a very interesting feature, because the heated steering wheel in the third level is so strong and almost burns your hands. I like that because when it's really hot, it even could get through gloves actually. Steering wheel, in, out, up and down, easy process. Soon more details to the instruments and the infotainment. Here there's one hard button here with the volume knob actually, and the lower part inductive charging pad, but also two USB-C charging devices and adaptive cup holders, and a lot more space underneath here. And the digital instruments are clear to read, and when you put in the drive gear, then you also have the map here in the middle part. That's cool. The only thing is here, you have only the battery level here and not the projected range. I think they still should change that. We want to see that range. This infotainment system definitely a highlight. It's actually easy. You now have this range assistant that gives you an estimation here. That's what just was left actually, and also shows what's the best and what's the minimum actually you could reach. And then there's also this main menu here, for example. And the most important is, of course, here the Google Maps. really modern, up to date. It always depends on the web connection, of course, how well it works. And the same also accounts for the voice assistant. And this can also, be, for example, here. Set temperature to 23 degrees. It's here because I have not a good signal here. It takes ages. But set temperature to 23 degrees. See here now with a better web connection, it also works better.
Changing the temperature to 23 degrees.
There we go. But the thing is, you are totally reliant on the web connection. When you have it, then it's the best voice assistant. And when you set a route, by the way, is very important because you can let it search like this and directly start it and pick your charging stations on your own. But you can also tell the vehicle to calculate the best thing in advance, So here there will be a suggestion for a charging station when it's almost empty. But when you hit here Edge Charging Stop, it will actually plan the charging stops on the route. In the rear, good result. Not a long car at all, but nice legroom here, even if you're tall. Also headroom wise, it does fit nice with the panoramic roof. Of course, a little bit more headroom without the panoramic roof. And also here, inside of the rear doors, good build quality, soft materials, really like that. The only thing is you do have a middle tunnel here because it's not an purpose-built EV platform. That's the only drawback. But again, you have a lot of space in the rear. That's a good result. And once again, nice build quality and very comfortable experience. Well, is there a frunk? Let's see. Yeah, there is. And then you can put a charging cable in there, for example. Trunk area houses some 400 something liters. Here, a meter or 40 inches in width, and the length is about 90 centimeters or 35 inches. See here, the cabin trolley fits in easily. What's quite cool actually, that you can put this cover here up and then you can put a backpack upright there and it's kind of secure. That's actually handy, and some more space underneath. And you can also fold the seats, but you cannot do that from here. You have to then go around and do it like this. Welcome to Thomas's driving lounge here with the Volvo XC40 EV. And that was a little bit downhill, an acceleration 0 to 50 miles. Yeah, that would have been for inner city a little bit too much, definitely. So that was 0 to 50 kilometers, okay? So like 0 to 30 miles, something like that. And using this all-wheel drive performance from 2 electric motors, really great. And of course, downhill, that would have been even faster than the official figure. To 100 kilometers or 60 miles is 4.9 seconds. Pretty quick. There will also be a front-wheel drive only version coming up, where I have a lower entry price. Here, recuperation, when we're going downhill, when you get off the throttle, it is one pedal driving, definitely. Strong recuperation. However, you can also change that when you press this option, button here, this option field here in the touchscreen on the lower right, and then you can turn off one pedal drive. When I then drive and lift my foot off the throttle, rolling, 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 rolling. So then I have to put my foot on the brake to use the recuperation. There will be the same power of recuperation. It's just a different method. The question is really, do you want recuperation as soon as you lift your foot off the throttle? They have to be gentle with the throttle at sometimes. Or do you rather want to control it just with your brakes? And you remember, when you're coming from combustion engine cars, there's also engine brake. So recuperation is, in a way, so, and also when you lift the foot off the throttle, you're already decelerating, and that can be also a safety thing. I also welcome you here today on this, some dark evening, nighttime driving experience. Always has a special mood. So from time to time, I really like to do that. We can also check the headlight performance. You can see German motorway, Autobahn at night. Soon, I'm going to accelerate it all the way out and also hit the maximum speed that this car can reach. What is it actually? We will find out together, but we're getting there step by step. Another interesting thing is here, so I leave it in the one pedal drive feeling for now. then steering wheel firm, that is. So you can set steering wheel to firm, and what that does is that it just gives you a little bit more feedback, and I think that's actually a good thing, but definitely a matter of preference. I think I do prefer that because it just gives you a little bit more feeling. When you deactivate it, the steering is, whoa, very loose, especially when you switch that, when you first have the firm feeling, and then you deactivate, it's like, we've seen it, you're accelerating all over the place. So yeah, I mean, for parking in and out, it's just easier if you're not that strong in your arms or something. Yeah, but especially on the motorway or something, or in corners, it just gives you also a little bit more calmness to the drive, I would say, because you're not oversteering anything. So probably I would leave it then in the firm mode, but yeah, I think it also depends on the situation. You can also here activate or deactivate the lane keeping aid or the steering assist, and then actually, so you can activate here left side of the steering. You can also set the speed there. And let's see how the active lane keeping assist masters here this construction lane on the motorway, because that's a harder task than the real lanes, you know. And here, for example, also there's the original lane, the white one, and the yellow ones are the construction lanes. That's how it is in Germany. You know, in the US, we have the standard yellow lines usually. And here, yeah, you know, in Germany we prefer white lines, you know. Just kidding. Don't do drugs and drive. Don't do drugs at all, you know. I never have taken any drugs, by the way. So yeah. So definitely here so far doing it very good. See here, although that's construction lane, not meant to take your hands off the steering wheel, but you see it's actually a quite good and smooth process. So actually very happy with what the car did here. And when there's a car approaching here, you also have the blind spot monitor. There you have this, you know, red line or boomerang. It's kind of like a boomerang, right? The blind spot boomerang. That's a good term, right? Why aren't they using it? So if any of the Volvo folks are watching, why don't you call it blind spot boomerang? That's such a great marketing name. Maybe I should switch into marketing. No, I'd rather stick with journalism, because then I can also blame people for something like, hey, you've done this wrong. Yeah, okay, back to the actual review. So, sorry about that. So what we're going to do now, so we see that the lane keeping assist works very well, blind spot monitor, so all the assistance systems, top notch really. Also very calm ride indeed. Noise insulation good so far, but when we accelerate it out here on the German motorway, what will happen then? That will be very interesting as for the noise insulation and so on. And also how calm the car will remain. We have the 19-inch wheels mounted today with winter tires, and that's definitely a more comfortable experience than with summer tires and 20-inch wheels. So if you ask me, you know, they don't offer any special optional suspension here for this vehicle. So I would rather go for the 19-inch wheels to keep more comfort. 20-inch wheels look cooler, but they definitely give you less comfort. Here, by the way, with a click here, you can always activate that lane keeping assist. And let's just see when I have the cruise control here not set, if there's any, you know, emergency lane keeping assist here. Yeah, you see that? Even when the cruise control is deactivated, there's this emergency lane keeping assist when I just have this run off road. And now also, hey, apply steering, lane keeping aid. So, wow, very well. And have you seen how smooth that is? So it's not this with this brake intervention. It's not like, bam, going over with the steering or with the brakes. Very smoothly keeping me in the brakes. So if I would be distracted at some point, or maybe having a heart attack or something, because I read like you know, a very mean comment, or where I shouldn't read comments while driving, right? So, yeah. Okay, let's forget that. Let's just say I'm having a heart attack, hopefully not. Then even in this case, the car would help me in a way that I keep in the lane and not doing an immediate accident or something. So I'm getting off the motorway again. Here, foot off the brake, really strong recuperation. Great, you know, great view now here to how the sun has been going down with the clouds and so on. Very beautiful. And now on this next step, I can accelerate it all out. Let's see about the maximum speed. But before that, let's talk about the range. There is here this range meter, And you know, in summertime, in good conditions, and when you're not flooring it all out, you can score some 400 kilometers or 250 miles of range. However, now winter times, lower temperatures, also with a little bit more speedy driving and so on. We are here now at energy consumption of about 23, 24 kilowatt hours on 100 kilometers. That's more like 35 kilowatt hours on 100 miles. And that would rather mean something towards 300 kilometers or 190 miles, which is of course not that good and not that efficient. This is not the most efficient EV, you have to know that. And so you can calculate with something between 300 and 400 kilometers and between 190 and 250 miles. In the middle of that is maybe then the realistic figure, but it depends really on the temperature on the outside. But that's the one thing. It's expensive. It's premium on the inside. It's a great drive, not that efficient. That's the catch. So now accelerating it all out. There's no one here. So like from, let's see, from 30 kilometers an hour. Let's go. $150, $180. So that's it. It was 180 kilometers an hour. So like 110 miles an hour, something like that. Wow, that was a great acceleration. And here now, I mean, it's getting quite noisy here now, definitely. And consumption here at top speed is at about, just over 60 kilowatt hours and 100 kilometers. Oh, there's the police. It's not the Autogefühl fake exhaust police, it's the German police. The Autogefühl fake exhaust police is also German. It's actually operating worldwide, So, international police station, So you've seen, and that means when you drive this vehicle here at full speed, you could go like 130 kilometers or like 70 miles at full speed at 180 kilometers an hour. You got that? So drive full speed at 180 kilometers an hour or 110 miles an hour. You could actually go around 130 kilometers or 70 miles long or something like this. And it also shows, yes, EVs are not as efficient as for high-speed driving in general, but we also had other EVs which were definitely way more efficient also in this respect. Also, once again, a very interesting thing to have. Ambient lighting wise, you see there's not much happening here in that vehicle. And you also can see that here at a normal highway speed, like 80 to 100 kilometers an hour, 50, 60 miles an hour, consumption figure when I hold it steady is like 20 kilowatt hours and 100 kilometers something. So like 30 kilowatt hours and 100 miles something. And that again brings us to this rather mediocre range. It's okay, it's not too bad, but it's also not good at all. But the ride itself, very good. It feels super sporty, calm, collected, has these very compact dimensions and low center of gravity. So fun factor in driving, really great. It's a lot of fun here to drive the Volvo XC40 EV, and it is more fun, no doubt, way more fun to drive an XC40 EV than one of these combustion engine brothers. Also check out the Volvo C40, the brother or sister model to this one here, which has this coupe shape. And if you want to see even more of this one here, we have another episode in different conditions. There you can check out even more.